After an action-packed weekend of crazy quarterback face-offs, touchdowns, turnovers, heartbreak, and everything in between, the Chiefs and Buccaneers are going to Super Bowl 55. Welcome into Penn State Sports Night. I'm Kelly Warner here with Evan Lasek and Charles Reinert as we recap these conference championship games. Let's start off with the arguably less exciting game with the Chiefs and Bills. What were your biggest takeaways from this AFC championship game?
Well, Kelly, as we can see, Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes. He's the reigning MVP, the Super Bowl MVP, and he's on the Super Bowl champion team. So Pat Mahomes is going to be that guy all the time. We already know that on the Chiefs. He's got a bunch of dangerous weapons in Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. Mecole Hardman may have fumbled a punt, and that led to a Bills score, but he made up for it the very next drive with a long 45-yard run, I believe. So I don't think there's really going to be any slowing down the Chiefs, and the Bills are one of the better teams that we saw. They made it to the AFC Championship. But if they can't stop them, I don't think the Buccaneers can. They could. Aaron Rodgers played a heck of a game, but I think the Chiefs and the Bills, I think that was a really good game, and I think Pat Mahomes is just going to always be that guy for them, and you're never going to have to worry whenever he's under center for you.
You make some great points about the offense. The Chiefs' offense is just an absolute force to be reckoned with. But my big takeaway from this game was the Chiefs' defense and Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu was all over the field on Sunday, and he was making his presence felt. And the Chiefs' pass rush was making Josh Allen feel very uncomfortable the entire game. They might have not gotten a whole lot of sacks, but sometimes all you really need is that pressure to get the point across. That being said, though, the Bills should be very proud of the season. They've come a long way, and Josh Allen and Sean McDermott are going to have a bright future in Buffalo.
Yeah, the Bills are a young team. They've got time. But you know who is not young is Tom Brady, who has won his first NFC Championship game and is going to his 10th Super Bowl at age 43. What surprised you the most during this NFC Championship game?
What surprised me the most was how good Tom Brady looked yesterday. Obviously, he's had a great season down in Tampa Bay, but this man is 43 years old throwing absolute lasers in Lambeau Field in that cold, windy environment in Wisconsin. But this Bucs team is extremely well-rounded. Not only do they have all those great players on offense like Tom Brady, obviously, and Mike Evans and Leonard Fournette and Chris Godwin, but they also have some great players on defense in Vita Vea, Antoine Winfield Jr., even though he didn't play yesterday, and Jason Pierre-Paul. This Bucs team just completely outclassed the Packers in every way, shape, and form. Sometimes the better football team just wins. But my question is, Aaron Rodgers, what are you doing? You got to run the ball in at your fourth and goal, Super Bowl on the line, Super Bowl triple on the line. You got to be a football player at that point. So, hoping for a better outcome next year for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, the biggest surprise for me was the coaching decisions in the fourth quarter. Not going for it on fourth and goal, making some questionable calls. They didn't run the ball at all within the 10-yard line there. That's when you have a guy like Aaron Jones in the backfield, I'm definitely handing it off to 33. But Tom Brady, you could definitely see at times his accuracy was a little off. Yes, there were some holding penalties and some defensive pass interferences that really bailed him out. But there were times where he threw 3 interceptions this past game, and if you make those mistakes against the Chiefs, you're not going to be able to stop Pat Mahomes, like I said earlier. But the Buccaneers, they really do have a bunch of weapons. Sean Murphy-Bunting, he was playing a great cornerback against the Packers this past week. I believe that the Buccaneers on offense, they're getting Antonio Brown back too. But Scotty Miller at that touchdown at the end of the half, that was huge. I think their receiving core is just dangerous. Pair that with Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette switching every drive off at running back, I think that's a dangerous 1-2 punch. But I think the Packers really did make some very questionable calls, not going for it. I think that really came back to bite them, and we'll see how they do next year if they're able to move on from that.
I agree the Packers' play calling was probably the biggest factor to their loss, but for the Bills and Packers, how do you think these losses affect them going forward? What changes do you think will be made in the offseason because of this loss?
So on the Bills side, you have Stephon Diggs and you have Josh Allen both locked up for another year before his rookie contract expires. But I think that's going to be a dangerous duo for the years to come. They have a glaring need at running back. Maybe if you get a star running back there instead of Singletary, I think that really boosts their offense. Josh Allen led their team in rushing with, I believe, almost 100 yards rushing on the ground. So if you give him a running back to really hand the ball off of, maybe take some of the weight off of his shoulders, I think that's just a great change for him. The Packers, however, Aaron Rodgers said it himself, we don't know who's going to be back with the Green Bay Packers next season, himself included. So they got to lock up guys like Aaron Jones, and I think they have the money. They may have the money to do it. I don't know what their plan is. They still have a guy like Jordan Love, but after the season Aaron Rodgers just had, how can you not keep him?
Yeah, I saw a couple of things on Twitter about that yesterday with the Green Bay Packers, starting maybe next year's Jordan Love's year. That's absolutely ridiculous. Why on earth would you get rid of one of the best quarterbacks ever played the position? The Bills, Josh Allen has gotten better every single year he's played. You are definitely right about the glaring need at running back, but if you want to compete with a team like the Chiefs, you got to have multiple players all around. So they have a glaring need at running back, and they need another receiver, even though Stephon Diggs is very, very good. The Packers, they really need to also get The Packers also need to get some defensive help. Kevin King was just getting absolutely spanked yesterday on the field. It was kind of embarrassing, honestly. Not that I'm saying I could do any better, because obviously I can't. Kevin King, if you're ever going to watch this, I mean no disrespect. But get this man Aaron Rodgers some help. This man needs another Super Bowl.
I definitely think Aaron Rodgers needs some help. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the Packers and Bills do going forward. That's all for this edition of Penn State Sports Night. See you next week for our Super Bowl preview. For Evan Lasek and Charles Reinert, I'm Kelly Warner. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching this edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also, follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.